Mr. Chairman. I'd like to direct several questions to Mr. Donahue. Thanks to all of you for being here today. But the first question would be in response to Chairman Shapiro's point. One of the central arguments that she seems to be making is that the past instances in which sponsors provided some degree of voluntary support to their money funds means that these funds are not as safe as they appear. I think that's one of her central arguments. Could you respond to that premise?
Yes, Senator. We create a lot of funds. I'm one of 13 kids. I have 8 of my own, and we create a lot of children too. And you're forever supporting them. And so the idea that you support funds, and you look at any other kind of product, people are supporting their products. What are they trying to do? They're making independent, voluntary, marketplace analysis and judgments about what to do with a product. So, I don't know anything about the 300, the 200. None of that really matters. What matters is that you have good, solid people deciding whether or not and what to do to help shareholders. And I think that what this support shows is the inherent resiliency of the funds. I mean, when you have $2.6 trillion in these funds with no interest and lots of regulatory abuse, that's really an accomplishment. And it's because the people want the cash management system. And if you talk about support in terms of what was done that the chairman was talking about, how about the support that every single one is doing 100% on waiving investment advisory fees in order to keep the funds going during these low interest times? So I look at support as something that is not unlike having a family. You birth the fund, well, what are you going to do about keeping it going? Now, we also merge funds out of existence. We buy other funds and put them out of existence. But overall, we're trying to enhance the relationship with the clients, some of whom are at this table, in the way they deal in the marketplace.
So fair to say that in many instances, many of the instances that she's citing are really manifestations of the strength of an industry rather than weakness.
They are manifestations of the strength, and they are manifestations of the judgment people make about why to do something. For example, there may be a reputational issue. The customers may be somewhat uncomfortable with a name, even though it's going to pay off on time and in full. There may be questions that you want to improve things. So there could be a lot of reasons. You may have individual customers that you're trying to deal with. And so there are a lot of reasons other than you had to buy the Lehman paper out for doing that. And there are different elements to it. But I think it shows a strong dynamism in the industry to be able to see the variety of moves that people have made to support these strong products.
Second question I have also for Mr. Donahue is that some have suggested that having a fixed net asset value is somehow unfair to investors because investors don't really understand, and they think that this is really akin to a bank deposit and a guaranteed thing. That strikes me as a rather surprising argument, but it appears frequently. I think a variation on that is in Chairman Shapiro's testimony. What is your reaction to that?
We have 5,000 institutional clients and millions of individual investors behind that. Most of our institutional investors deal with us in one account. I assure you they understand what a money market fund is. And if there was any good thing to come out of reserve fund, which there really wasn't, the one good thing is they realized that the investors bore the loss and there was no bailout of a money fund. So people understand it. Fidelity's run a good survey of their retail base and said they understand what the lay of the land is. And I think one of the things about all this regulatory noise on money funds has done is re-emphasize what we put on the front page of every prospectus and every annual report, that these things are not guaranteed, they're not backed by the FDIC, and you may lose money.
Thanks very much, Mr. Chairman. I would just like to ask unanimous consent to submit for the record a statement from the Financial Services Institute. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, could